Good morning, students. Today I'm here with a tutorial for you all in order to tell you how the half-yearly examination has to be actually given. Now, in order to do so, you have to open the Google Classroom where your teacher must have created a post for the exam. You need to open that post where you are going to find a link for the exam. Click on the link. Once the link will be clicked, the Google form for that respective subject is going to appear on the screen. Now, the very first section of this Google form contains a number of fields which has to be filled by you for your details. As an example, in the first field, you have to enter your name in bold. That means in uppercase. Once you're done with this, you have to enter your valid email ID that you have created for the school. This email ID should be the proper ID because whatever communication has to be made will be made on this ID. So once you have filled in the ID, you have to fill in your admission number, and after that, the section in which you study has to be marked. So once you are done with the details, you have to click on the next button which is visible at the bottom of the screen. Once the button is clicked, you will move on to the next section of the Google form, which contains objective questions. Now, these objective questions are the multiple choice questions, the way they used to be in the unit test. While answering the questions, you have to be very careful that you read the question properly and then mark the answer. Make one thing sure, students, that the total duration for this exam is 1 hour. Why so? Because not only the objective section is there will be one subjective section too. So the total duration is 1 hour in which you have to complete the objective questions, and at the same time you have to complete the subjective part of it. So in this section, most of the questions can be answered directly. They have one word answers. So do not waste a lot of time in this section. Read the question properly, but then answer them. Either you know the answer or you don't know the answer. Please do not waste your time. Why the time has to be taken care of? Because you will take time in answering the subjective questions too. So while I am answering these questions, I'm going to make it sure that I should not take more than a minute to answer them because no calculation is required in here. Most of the questions are having one word answers. So I'm marking the questions accordingly. So this is how the answers are to be marked. And once you're done with the marking of the answers, you can always scroll up to actually review your answers. So once you are sure about it, that you have marked the answers properly, you can come to the bottom of the screen where again you will find a next button. The next button has to be clicked. Once you click the button, you move on to the third section of the Google form. Now this is the final section which contains the descriptive questions. You'll find that the questions are there along with few instructions. And then after that, a submit button is there. Now the questions are visible, but there is no space to answer them. Obviously, for the subjective part, you have to answer the questions on a separate sheet of paper, which can be the center sheet of your normal register. So here we only have the option of submit button. But before submitting the paper, one thing has to be taken care of, that you take a screenshot of this paper. Why I'm saying it? Because once you are going to submit the Google form, the questions will also go along with it. That means you won't be able to find the questions. If you don't know the questions, then how will you answer them? So better take a screenshot so that on a later stage, once you have submitted it, you can find the questions and then you can answer them on the paper. So let's finally click the submit button. Once we click the submit button, our response will be recorded. Now this means that the objective part of the paper is complete and we have already submitted it with the Google form. But is the paper complete? No, it is not. It is only the objective part. The other half of the paper is still left. So you have to close this and you have to open the picture gallery of your phone. Now, in the picture gallery, you are going to find the screenshot that you have taken. In the screenshot, the instructions are there, which are provided by the respective subject teacher. You have to follow the instructions properly. And then you have to see the questions and you have to answer them on a separate sheet of paper. While answering the questions, be precise, write to the point answers because the time duration matters. You have to submit the paper within that time limit only. So once you are done with the answers, you have to make a PDF of the answer script. Remember, answer script will be required to be submitted in the school also. So you have to keep the answer script properly in a folder, date wise, subject wise, it has to be kept. So on your device, you should have some software, some application to actually make the PDF. Like in my phone, I have an application named Office. It is available. So fine. Once your application is opened up, you will see a plus button in there, which has to be clicked, and there is a scan option. Click on the scan option, and this is the answer script which I have made. You can see I have mentioned all the details, the date on which the exam is given, the name, the class, the section, roll number, even the admission number I have mentioned, followed by the subject name. And I did not mention the actual questions because the questions are already there in the paper. So I am marking the answers. So I am mentioning the proper question number along with the answer. So you have to be very careful. So answer 1, answer 2, and so on. So let's scan it. Okay. Once this paper is scanned, you can click on the confirm button. Then you can see there's an add option in the left corner at the bottom. You have to click over it because more pages are to be added. Scan the next page, confirm. There's one more page, so we need to scan it too. So once you are done with the scanning, you have to click on the confirm button. Then you can see a red color circular button where 3 is written because I have scanned 3 pages. You have to click on that button. Then the option of done is coming, which has to be clicked again. Once you click on done, there is a create PDF option in the center. I'm telling you about this particular application. In different applications, there are different options. So click on create PDF. And with this, the PDF has been created. Now, once the PDF has been created, you have to click on the share button, which is at the bottom, the red color button. You have to click over it. You have to select the option of classroom and your classroom will open up. You have to see the option of attach to assignment. Click over it. Then you will see a number of assignments. You have to select the required assignment, that is computers half yearly exam. You can see it is due today at 6 a.m. So you have to click over it. So automatically the PDF which you have created will be attached under this assignment which we have to hand in. This process is very similar to the way you were attaching your work in the classroom. So see, now the PDF is there at the bottom. So you can click on the option of hand in. One attachment will be submitted for computers half yearly examination. Should we do it? Yes. So the work has been submitted. So this is how you are going to do it. With this, when you have submitted the PDF, the examination, the half-yearly examination for this particular subject is over. I hope you have understood how to give this particular half-yearly examination. So again, let me do a quick recap. This time, the examination is going to be taking place on the Google form itself. The Google form is going to have 3 sections. The first section is going to contain fields for filling up the details where you have to enter the proper details of yours. The second section is of objective questions which are to be answered, and then the third section contains the subjective questions which are to be answered on a separate sheet of paper, for which you have to create a PDF and you have to upload it under the assignment made by your teacher in the Google Classroom. I hope this tutorial is going to be of help for you and you will be able to give the examination without any problem. Make it sure that you give the examination honestly, students, and be prepared with all the writing accessories. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much.